What's going on YouTube? This is 903 Fishing. Guys, these crappie have me all confused right now. I know they're transitioning. They're on their way to their staging areas for this spawn. However, there is another big event that takes place almost to the time where the white bass will run up the rivers and the creeks. I have heard that there are a few white bass males that have came up early. It's always males first and then the females come. But today I'm going to be showing y'all a few things to look for where these sand bass are going to be at when they finally do come up. I'm thinking about another 2 weeks or so, we should be, you know, into the spawn pretty good. One thing that you need to look for these sand bass when they finally do start running is this is the main channel right here, but then it forks. All right, one way goes this way and another way goes off to the left. There is calm water over there in that little cove. That is going to be a great place for these sand bass to wait for bait fish to come across their face. So that is a great place to start casting. This is actually one of my better holes. So anytime you have a fork in the river or fork in the creek, there's going to be a swirl, what I like to call a swirl, in the middle of that. So the water doesn't know which direction to go exactly. It's got to go one of two ways. So this is going to be a great place right here. This is what I use for my sand bass, guys. White ice fluke junior with the paddle tail. It has to be the paddle tail. And I normally use a pink jig head, 1/8 ounce. Right now I have it on my Zebco 33. I'm waiting on my ACC crappie sticks, my 6-foot casting rods to come in from ACC, and I will start using my ACC rods. But anyway, this is what I use, guys. A lot of people have told me that this bait is too big, and that is false. I have caught hundreds, if not thousands, of sand bass on this lure right here. So this is from Zoom, by the way. Zoom Baits, white ice fluke junior, 1/8 ounce pink jig head. Another thing about this white ice fluke junior, it has that paddle tail on it, like I said earlier. Guys, I have had the best luck with this lure throwing it against the current, throwing it out and reeling it against the current very slowly. You let that paddle tail go to work, the action on it is crazy, and the sand bass really seem to like it. One thing to look for, guys, is a bend in the river or creek. There is a pretty sharp bend right here, and this is also one of my good spots for when these white bass come up. Guys, there's a bend in this river right here, and as you can see, hopefully you can see, the current is flowing pretty good out in the middle. Now if you look over here to the right, there is still water. Okay, a lot of the times these white bass will get into this still water right here and they will wait for bait fish to come by. So this is a great thing to look for when you're white bass fishing. Just out of the current, still water. I've had a lot of luck in still water. Another thing to look for these white bass, the current, like I said, is running pretty swiftly in the middle and even on this side of the river. However, on the far bank, I know it may be hard to see, but the current is basically stagnant. There is no current. These trees are hanging over the river, and on the other side of the bank it is pretty calm. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to throw up underneath those trees and slow reel this fluke out from underneath those trees. I've had great success with it. Find you some still water and roll that fluke out of that still water. All right, guys, once again, you have a fork in the river. You have current coming in from this side and current coming in from that side over there, and then you got the main channel here. Now this is going to be a great spot for these sand bass. You got some stiller water in the middle, and that is going to be a great place to throw this fluke or any bait that you decide to throw, honestly. Remember, sand bass are very aggressive fish, so anything that comes across their face that looks intriguing, they're more than likely going to tag it. Oh yeah, this is something you definitely need to look for, guys. Places like this right here, all this right here is calm water. And then there's a little feeder creek that comes into the river from over here. Very still water. We got the current in the middle. This spot right here is going to be a great spot to fish. Great spot. Another tip that I would highly recommend is to get you some waders. All right, you will have access to so much more water. All right, if I didn't have waders, I would not be able to pass this little creek right here, you know. And you never know, you might be able to pass this creek and then you may be able to have access to way more fish. Get you some waders when sand bass fishing, guys. You have access to a whole lot more water. I just passed this creek right here in waders. So if I didn't have these waders, I would not be able to fish a lot more places. Once again, guys, great area for the sand bass to be. Got the current coming in from this way. And what's happening is there's no current that comes in from this way. It's very still. So this current is coming around this way and it's actually pushing the current back towards this way. So that's gonna pull that bait, those bait fish, up into that still water where these sand bass are gonna be at. Just as I suspected, I didn't catch any fish. Now, like I said, I have heard of a few males coming up in here so far. But anyway, guys, use these tips that I showed you today to catch these sand bass during this 2021 run. Very fun. There is nothing like throwing out in the same spot over and over and them sand bass just knock your lure. I'm guessing here in about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, this sand bass spawn will be on and popping. So you don't want to miss it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this short video. If you're subscribed to the channel, I appreciate it so much. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget that notification bell so you can be notified as soon as content hits the channel. And like always, like, comment, and subscribe to 903 Fishing. Y'all have a great day. God bless.